So I know this is very important to a lot of people, and I try to make these videos as special for me as I can because it's not the most important thing to me personally, but I have to admit when somebody pays me a nice compliment, it does put a smile on my face. It does make me feel good because I absolutely love fragrances myself. And if you're the type that's constantly fishing for compliments, and that's one of the main reasons you're spraying a certain fragrance, I've got 10 that, in my personal experience, if you're fishing for compliments, these are going to give you a pretty good chance. Now, obviously, the fragrance isn't going to do it alone. The entire presentation has to be working visually, audible, what you sound like, what you're saying, your aura, just your overall mood that you're putting out. It all has to work in unison with the fragrance. But if you got everything else working for you, fragrances like this, in my experience, definitely have a really good chance of maybe pulling in that big compliment you were fishing for. So let's talk about these 10. Stay tuned. Starting with the fragrance that I've gotten more compliments with than any other. It's my favorite fragrance in my collection. It is Paco Rabanne's Invictus Aqua. This stuff is magical. I have multiple bottles of this. I love this fragrance. I plan on never running out of sprays. It's so good. And not everybody's a big fan of it. This is very designer. What do I mean by that? It's more on the synthetic side. It's crowd pleasing. Look, a lot of these are crowd pleasing in this video because that's what will pull compliments. Because at the end of the day, most people aren't fragrance enthusiasts like myself and you. Because if you're watching this, you're probably really into fragrances in the first place, especially if you're subscribed to me. You're a fan of fragrances, and I appreciate you subbing. So stuff like this smells great to passers-by. It really does. Whether you're in a workplace setting, walking through the mall, going to dinner, in warmer weather, this stuff is fan-damn-tastic. It puts me in a great mood. That goes back to what I was saying about the whole package working for you and the fragrance just being an addition that can kind of help get you there if you're looking for a nice compliment on how you smell. This one definitely has always done that for me. It's very seldom that I wear this and I don't get a compliment from someone. Doesn't happen every single time I wear it, but the probability is definitely heightened tremendously when I wear Paco Rabanne's Invictus Aqua. It's very aquatic, citrusy in the top. It's a little powdery. It's got a nice woody base, a little bit of a saltwater marine feel. It's just a beautiful fragrance. It is my absolute favorite fragrance in my collection because it puts me in a great mood. And when you're in a great mood and you're smelling great, somebody might want to tell you smell good. Fragrances like this definitely give me a good chance. It's Paco Rabanne Invictus Aqua 2018. Next, this is an absolute beast, monster, crazy strong fragrance that I go anosmic to and don't even realize how strong it is, but it's a room filler. It leaves a trail. It is a niche blue fragrance called Parfums de Marly Percival. This stuff is great at pulling in an ooh, you smell nice, especially from my wife. This one, I have to kind of be mindful of the sprays because she's the one that has told me and coached me on how strong this actually is off of my skin at 4 and 5 sprays even. I don't really go higher than 5 sprays with this one, and that's only if I'm out there fishing in many ways, because when you wear something this strong that smells this damn good and is this much of a mass appealing crowd pleaser, you're looking for a compliment. Man, and this stuff will pull it. There's a bit of ambroxan here. There's some citruses. There's a nice, dense, woody backbone that's not too dark of a wood. It's lovely. It smells kind of like niche Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce, Mont Blanc Legend, fragrances like that. It often gets compared to that, and those are historically compliment beasts that ladies like to smell on men in the first place. And this is a crazy, strong, higher quality version. I say higher quality, it's basically like a high quality designer. That's pretty much what this is because there's a lot of synthetics in here, but at least they're using quality oils from a well-sourced place. I'm not sure exactly where they're perfumed, but you can tell the quality is there even with the man-made synthetic oils like ambroxan, for example. This is a fantastic fragrance. If you're looking for compliments, get a sample, try this one. You won't need many sprays for people to smell you, and see how it works for you. It's Parfums de Marly, Percival. Purist and heavy enthusiast of this hobby that really love men's fragrances may cringe a little bit when I show this fragrance, but there's no denying when it comes to the average person that's not a fragrance enthusiast that you're going to walk by, you're probably going to get a compliment if you're wearing Dior Sauvage Eau de Toilette. It is what it is, guys. There's tons of guys out there wearing it. This is like the #1 selling men's fragrance for several years now, for good reason. It's a metallic, citrus, peppery shower gel scent. It's crowd pleasing. There's no denying. You can try to be as snobby about this fragrance as you want to be. It just smells good. Now, if you're sensitive to synthetics like ambroxan, that's understandable. It's definitely not for you. I get that. Beautiful pressure-sensitive atomizers. Oh, Dior does it right, you know. It just smells good. There was a time in my life when I refused to wear this. When I worked at Toyota for that brief stint, I had 6 guys, counting certain managers, that wore Dior Sauvage, whether the EDT or the EDP. Every day it was their signature scent. There was a cloud of Sauvage around the dealership every day at all times, so I refused to wear it. So I get it. If you're in an area where a lot of people you know are wearing it, maybe not the best fragrance for you. But if you don't smell Sauvage all the time where you live, where you work, this is going to be a great choice for you. If you're looking to get some attention from the opposite sex and you want them to attract them to tell you smell nice, there's a reason that so many guys buy this fragrance, and this is the one fragrance they have. The versatility's there, the performance that is there, and the attractiveness of the scent profile to the opposite sex is absolutely there. I can tell you firsthand, my wife loves the way this one smells. Absolutely. I've never really had a bad experience with Sauvage. More positive experiences than anything. I mean, 9 times out of 10, unless you actually stink, nobody's really going to tell you actually stink. I mean, I don't really wear fragrances that I would consider stinking anyway, but this stuff is just so mass appealing, such a crowd pleaser, spawned a handful of flankers at this point that I like all of the flankers better than this one. But if you're out there fishing for compliments, your best bet is to go with the original. Go with Dior Sauvage Eau de Toilette. It's known to be a compliment magnet. That's what it does. It's best at it. It's just good. Next is a personal favorite of mine. When it comes to affordable niche from discounters, this is my default answer on where you should start every single time. It's Mancera's Cedrat Boise. I love this fragrance. I love the new Intense version as well, but this has that freshness, a load of freshness versus the Intense. That one's more animalic, warm, and spicy. This one's all about citruses and fruits in the top. Super attractive. Man, compliment magnet in my experience. I've told many different stories. I won't go into a long tangent about this one. Just know that there is never a bad time to wear this. It is strong enough for people to smell you. It's one that you can be moderate with the sprays or you can be heavier with the sprays, but the trail is magical. It's captivating. It does grab people in my experience, and it compels people, not everybody that smells you, but more times than not, I've been in situations where there's been somebody that has smelled me, whether it's somebody I know or a complete stranger, has been compelled to ask about my fragrance because they just thought I smelled so good. Fragrances like Mancera Cedrat Boise really give you a good opportunity at potentially getting a compliment. If, like the video topic says, if you're out there fishing for them, if you're that guy that's looking for a compliment, fragrances like this really give you a good opportunity. As long as you got everything else working for you, you'll be all right if you're wearing Mancera Cedrat Boise. Next is another personal favorite of mine. I mean, these are all personal favorites. I don't even need to say that every time because I could say it for every fragrance. This is a combination of YSL Y and Invictus, 2 of my personal favorite scent DNAs. This is YSL Y Live. This stuff is fantastic. This is one of my wife's favorite fragrances on me. Sadly discontinued, still can be found for a decent price from discounters online. If you have this fragrance, you know where I'm coming from. It's a compliment magnet. I'll never forget the very first time I wore this to dinner, because I wear it specifically to dinner. Fall, winter, spring is the only times I pull this 60 ml bottle out, because it's one of my wife's personal favorites, and it just fits, because the first time I wore it was to dinner, and I got a compliment from the hostess. I couldn't think of the word hostess. From the hostess as soon as we walked in. And my wife said, "See, told you, you smell incredible." I get where she's coming from. it's one of those things that kind of it makes an impact so it sticks in your memory. So I always think of that when I smell this fragrance. I go back to that first date, that first night. I believe it was at Saltgrass, actually, that I wore this. And man, every time I wear it, my wife just wants to sniff on me. You know, I haven't gotten a ton of compliments from random strangers. I have gotten a handful or so because, like I said, it's specifically when we're going to a restaurant for dinner. So if the hostess or the server doesn't compliment me, I'm probably not going to get one from a stranger unless a random passerby the table happens to get a whiff of the sillage. That technically has not happened. I haven't had that experience. But this stuff is just such an incredible scent profile that is so attractive, so mass appealing. It's got that sweet aquatic appeal of Invictus with that lovely fruity apple and sage, you know, blue type of feel. A little bit of fresh spice to it with that ambergris base that the Y DNA is known for. This stuff is just so damn good. Get your nose on this one if you haven't yet. You're out there fishing for compliments. Fragrances like this is what you need to be looking for. This is Yves Saint Laurent's Y Live. One of the most attractive and mass appealing fragrances on the market. It's pricey. It's very, very pricey. But for me, there's no denying the magic of the opening of this fragrance. It's just beautiful. Citrus, fruits, metallic, little bit of herbs. We're talking about Roja Parfum's Elysium. You know, not everybody has the same experience. I understand that. But there's a lot of people out there that this is what they wear when they're with their lady, looking for ladies, out at the bar, whatever. If you have this bottle, you're probably wearing this because it is super attractive. This is a compliment magnet in my experience. Even more so than the Parfum. I personally, for myself, prefer the Parfum over this one. Still love how this smells, but I think the Parfum is better. But based on pulling compliments, this is the one that's been more effective at getting me some compliments. Again, not every single time I wear it does somebody have to feel compelled to come tell me how good I smell, but more times than not, whether it's a friend, family member, relative of some sort, my wife, and it has happened in several instances for random people in grocery store, or maybe when we were going pick up, what happened last time? What was I going to pick up? I was going to pick up some flowers for my wife, actually. That's what it was. And the florist actually gave me a nice compliment. So you never know when it's going to happen. You just got to have a smile on your face and look approachable, and if they can smell you and it captivates them, if it's a captive scent that really grabs them, there's a good chance they might want to tell you that you smell good. And fragrances like this, that's why it's in this video. You got a real good chance. It's a compliment magnet in my experience. I know that's a lot of other people's experience as well. It's pricey though. Definitely try before you buy. But more than likely, if you try this one, you're going to end up really wanting a bottle because the clones of this do not do it a good enough justice. They'll do okay. They do the job, but this just does the job better because it's the original and the quality is better. It's Roja Parfum's Elysium Parfum Cologne. I debated on putting the original because my wife loves it so much, and I know it's a timeless classic. Women just love the way it smells. But in my experience, when it comes to taking her feelings out of it and looking at more than just her, beyond her, with strangers and other people complimenting me, it comes down to Acqua di Gio Profumo. I've gotten compliments from coworkers, from strangers, from customers, as well as family members like my mother, for example, and my wife. This stuff, and this is an older bottle. I don't remember exactly how many years old it is, but it projects pretty damn heavy. I don't need a lot of sprays of this one. This grabs people. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is the grown-up version of Acqua di Gio. Why do I mean grown-up version? Because a lot of grown men wear the original. I get that. That's a more fresh and casual fragrance. This dresses up so much better. The incense and patchouli that's added here really changes this scent profile to give it more of a professional and serious appeal without completely taking it out of the casual category. You can wear this casually. That's not an issue. But I'll tell you what, for workplace settings, mindful of the sprays because it's pretty strong. And going to dinner, same thing, mindful of the sprays if you're in a confined area because it's pretty strong. But this has the ability, the power, the reaching power, and the scent profile to grab people, to captivate them, to really titillate their senses to where they're like, ooh, that smells really nice. It gives you a good opportunity of them feeling the need to tell you how nice you smell or to ask what the fragrance is because they're very curious because Smells fantastic. Fragrances like this definitely do it. It's a, old school hype beast at this point. Early stages of YouTube fragrance content, this was a hype beast. And the hype's kind of killed off. Not too many people really talk about it anymore, but it still does the job fantastically. This is a great fragrance. It's a compliment magnet in my personal experience. If you have it, it's probably that for you as well. Again, we're talking about Giorgio Armani's Acqua di Gio Profumo. Next, I've had people stop me dead in my tracks at grocery stores. Multiple times this has happened at different grocery stores. Sam's Club, this has happened at King Soopers, which is a Kroger basically. This has happened so many times from so many people. It never fails. I love how it smells on my wife. She has her own bottle. We're talking about Zaharoff Signature Rosé, my absolute favorite fragrance from the house. It is super intoxicating. This stuff is masterful. Rose incense. Variety of rose too. Jammy, thick Bulgarian rose, fresh, almost watery Turkish rose. There's a little bit of Chinese peony to add this pink floral touch to it, but not much. It's more about the rose. Heavy dose of olibanum tears that gives this strong incense feel. It's based around Greek rose incense, and it does a really good job. The oud here just provides a nice warm wood touch in the backdrop. It's very ambery. It's a little sweet, but it's not overly sweet because there is sugar cane here. There is vanilla bean. I know those sound like very sweet notes. They're just not high dosed. Like I said before, it's all about the rose incense and woodiness of this fragrance. It is absolutely gorgeous. This is a masculine rose fragrance that, like I said, I've had people stop in their tracks or stop me in my tracks as I walk by to ask me what I'm wearing because I smell so good, because that is the case with this. This is, if you're fishing for compliments, this is the fragrance from the house of Zaharoff you want to be wearing because it's so different. Most people have never smelled anything like this before. Most people. Some have. It's rose incense. It's a thing. It exists. That's what it's based around. But I'll tell you what, it's just amazing. I love this fragrance. It's absolutely sample worthy. You can get samples. You don't have to commit to a bottle. You don't have to go searching for decants. You can get a sample from the brand's website for just a few dollars. It's absolutely worth checking out. Even if you're not a fan of rose, maybe give this one a chance because it might make you a believer. In my experience, I've gotten many compliments with this one. Zaharoff Signature Rosé. Captivating when you walk by. Very synthetic. I gotta say, it's very salty, very strong if you smell it directly off of skin. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. This stuff really, really works. As does the original Light Blue. You know, historically, I've gotten more compliments out of that than I have this one. But I wear this one more often because it performs so much better. Such a good fragrance. Grapefruit, sea salt, heavy dose of amber wood, very clean, salty, marine, and aquatic. Super, super attractive. Like I said, directly off of skin, a little rich, a little salty, a little bit too much. Out in the air, the sillage, the trail, your scent cloud, beautiful, gorgeous, captivating, extremely attractive to the opposite sex. That's been my experience. That's been my friend Matt's experience as well. This is one of his favorites, especially when it comes to getting compliments. Shout out to you, Matt, if you see this. This is just one of those fragrances. This had to be in the video because it never fails. Now, I kind of strictly wear it in situations when I'm going to be outdoors and it's hot outside, which I haven't been outdoors a ton this summer, so I haven't reached for it much. But historically, in my experience, this stuff will definitely pull a nice compliment. It all depends, like I said many times in this video. It depends on what else is going on. The fragrance can only do so much. You have to meet the fragrance halfway, if you will, with your appearance and your overall presentation, your attitude, and your mood really plays a factor into if somebody's going to want to approach you, especially strangers, if somebody's going to want to approach you in the first place to tell you smell nice if they get a nice big whiff of what you're wearing. This stuff, it's magical out in the air. It really is. This is one of the best aquatic fragrances that performs for getting compliments, and that performance is the reason it pulls compliments in for sure. It's Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense. Last but not least, this is a beast of a boozy tobacco. It's sweet, fresh, and fruity in the top, very thick and robust and rich the whole way through. There's a nice sweetness to the tone of the fragrance from start to finish with different stages of sweetness. It's fruity sweet at first. It becomes more of a creamy type of sweetness in the dry down. It is Triumph of Bacchus from Argos. You don't need a lot of sprays. I force spray this one. 4 sprays when I wear it because it's so powerful. This is so good. Rich, robust, thick, pure. Has a pure smell to it. Very clean for having such an earthy note like tobacco. Very ambery as well. Beautiful, warm, sweet, but still has some freshness, some playfulness to it. It's not too serious of a fragrance. This can dress up, and this can definitely be very casual. Even with a hoodie like I'm rocking right now, I will absolutely wear this fragrance with that. I've done it many times because I like to wear this one in the cold, especially once winter hits. More winter than fall. Love to wear this one. I've gotten countless compliments with this fragrance. Countless. You don't need a lot of sprays. Like I said, I do 3 to 4. I think maybe one time I might have done more than 4, but you don't need it because it's so damn strong. It's very captivating. I don't think I've ever given a hug to a family member when wearing this and not gotten a, ooh, you smell really nice. Because it's usually my in-laws, it's usually my mother-in-law out here in Colorado Springs that I'll give a hug then when I'm wearing this one, because that's when we tend to visit a lot, is during the winter times. That's when we have the Thanksgiving get-together and Christmas, and there's a lot more cookouts and get-togethers in the fall and winter time where I'm living here in Colorado Springs. So the opportunity for a conversation starter and a nice compliment is heightened greatly at these get-togethers because they know I'm so into fragrances. So they're looking to see what I'm wearing. So I got to wear stuff to really show out, which this fits the mold. When you're trying to show out, you're fishing for compliments, you want somebody to really believe, like, oh my God, you smell amazing. You want to wear stuff like this. Again, that's Argos Triumph of Bacchus. Well, that's the 10 and my personal experiences with all of them. Like I said before, there's no guarantees. You may wear all 10 of these, and these are the only 10 you wear forever, never, never, and never get a compliment. That is a case-by-case basis, wearing by wearing, super situational. But I wanted to share with you guys my personal experiences because I get asked about compliments on certain fragrances that I talk about all the time. So I said, why don't I just make a video about it if you're just fishing for compliments? For me, these work almost every time I wear them. So here we are. I brought you the 10. I told you some of my quick stories and some of the reasons why. And like I said, there's no guarantees. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Do you have any of these 10? Do you happen to pull compliments with them? Have you never pulled a compliment with one of these because you own them? I'd love to read about it below. Like I said, fragrance is subjective and compliments are so situational and case by case. Like I said, it's unreal. You never know. Some people get compliments every time they wear a certain fragrance. Then others will wear that same fragrance and never get a compliment. Like I said, it's so situational. It's unreal. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these 10 and you give them a spray now, there's a good chance that you'll end up pulling a compliment, but you never know. And you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.